No, I'm from Stoke-on-Trent. It's a place that used to thrive in the pottery industry, and that industry went bump. All the factories shut down, and we're left with all the slums, unemployment, and Stoke-on-Trent just hit rock bottom. My mum used to be a swimming teacher, and now is a full-time firefighter. So at the age of 58, she's out there saving cats, going to the swimming galas every weekend, training at 5 AM in the morning, training at 5 PM at night, training with my brothers. I remember I used to get so angry and upset that I couldn't beat my brothers. If I didn't beat my brothers, then I couldn't take it. I was so competitive. How can I better myself? Sorting out my training, my diet. Very quickly, I surpassed my brothers. And then I get to age 10. I managed to qualify for the national championships. Ended up winning every single distance in the freestyle. And I got entered on to what they call the Olympic potential squad. When everyone else was having the Easter holidays and summer holidays, I'd go off to Loughborough, Germany, Australia, go on the swimming camps, and I absolutely loved it. You know, I thrived off success, setting British records, winning gold medals. In my mind, I was going to be an Olympic champion when I grew up. And then the Olympic potential squad got a bit more militarised, and we brought over a head coach from Australia. I hated it. And he brought in this system, if you got 3 black ticks, you were sent home. So the first day, I got 3 black ticks. I managed to set the fire alarm on, and the whole hotel, middle of Loughborough, about 1,000 people lined up outside this hotel. I mean, along with being chucked off the swimming squad, I got expelled from high school when I was 14 years old. And I didn't quite know what to do with myself. You know, I went into a very bad state of depression. You know, I locked myself in my room, and I wouldn't leave, I wouldn't go out, I wouldn't do anything. I hit rock bottom. You know, I was taking Prozacs, seeing psychiatrists, and I did this for the best part of the year. I got very low. It was a very dark place in my life. You know, just really crippled me. And this went on for about a year. And then my parents sort of sat me down one day and were like, what are you doing with yourself, Ed? You know, we can see you're ill, so you're not coping with life very well, but you are literally wasting your life. You know, and at the time I thought everyone was against me. And they said, you need to get out, you need to do something with your life. And I said, well, okay, you know, I'll join a gym. I'll go and lift weights. You know, I'm not proud of being expelled from high school at all. It's not big, it's not clever. But for me, it worked because I feel as though I got a massive head start in life in that respect. I got out there and started living my life very early. I remember going to the gym one day, and I was like, hey, you've got to see what you're made of. Test the waters, why don't you do something with your strength? And then my brother entered me into my first strongman contest. And I got the bite for it. I just loved it. I loved the exhilaration of lifting weights and a crowd and pulling trucks and flipping tyres. And at that day, I said to my mum, my dad, my girlfriend at the time, my brothers, I said, I'm going to be the world's strongest man one day. You watch this space. When I was that age, very arrogant. And they called my name up for the truck pull. About 2 meters down the course, my mum got a voice like the Titanic foghorn. Go, Eddie, go, little steps, breathe. Me and Eddie Manderson are going head to head. All the best deadlifters in the world have been invited to this contest. Nowhere to hide. And the rules were that day that you had to lower the weight to the floor. That's to 461 kilos for a new world record in the deadlift. I go out there, I pull it, the referee gives me the down signal, and instead of lowering it to the floor, I let go. So I was disallowed the lift. It hit me hard. I couldn't take it. I couldn't take the defeat. At the time, I was working a full-time job, working 60 hours a week, sort of 7 till 5 every single day. I had my own door business. I was doing the boots, paying the wages, and I was working the doors myself. I'm sick of burning the candle at both ends and burning it in the middle to go and lose money on strongman. This is meant to be, I'm going to try and make a living from this, and I can't. So I said to the wife, I quit. And she just drilled it into me that I had just pulled a world record deadlift for the whole world to see. And she said, if you can do that, then you can go on and win the world's strongest man. Give me one reason why you can't. So it was that weekend that I decided to become a professional strongman. 3 AM in the morning, I'd set an alarm and I'd get up. I need a 200-gram piece of raw steak with a protein shake, and then I'd go back to bed. I'd get up about 7 AM and have a full English breakfast. You're talking 5-6 bacon, 5-6 sausages, fried bread, beans, tomato, black pudding, Wash that down with a litre of ice cream, bucket of porridge, litre of cranberry juice. 11:30, I do my physiotherapy. Do that for an hour and a half, and that takes us to lunchtime. For pudding, half a family cheesecake and a litre of ice cream, and then I go back to bed. I would get up about 3:30, I'd have a second dinner, with tuna sandwiches, flapjacks, more fruit, and then I'd be driving to the gym. As I was driving to the gym, I'd be drinking carb drinks like Lucozades. Get to the gym, now I train for 4 hours, so I take lots of food. During the first half of my session, I'd probably have 2 litres of cranberry juice with carb powders. Halfway through the training, I would have a 200-gram piece of fillet steak. Then the second half of my session, I'd have a protein shake while snacking on beef jerky. Right at the end of the session, I'd have a litre of coconut water to replenish the electrolytes and fruit sugars. And then I'd drive to another gym. And this takes to about 8 o'clock. And whilst I'd be drinking my mineral water and BCAAs and whatever else, I'd be stretching in a hydro pool for an hour. And then I'd do hot cold treatment for an hour, so I'd do sauna and ice bath for an hour. And that takes about 10 p.m. I'd go home. Now my wife was great, she'd always cook me fantastic meals. She knew my job, she knew food was my living. So if we had a curry or a spag bol, she'd cut full packs of bacon into it, just to add the calories, the protein, the fats. And then for pudding, the other half of family cheesecake and another litre of ice cream. I would then go to the bottom of the garden and I had a hyperbaric chamber, and that would take me to about midnight. And I'd just have a couple of protein bars, a protein shake, and I'd go to bed. And that was my life, Monday to Sunday. I worked out at the time I was spending £300 a week on food, just on myself. 1 week, I was spending £800 a week on my body. There were 3 life goals at this point in my career. Number 1 was obviously to win the world's strongest man. Number 2 was to hold the world record in the deadlift. And number 3, believe it or not, and make friends with Arnold Schwarzenegger. March 2015, I get an invite to compete in the Arnold Classic. Good lift, broke a world record. I go to celebrate with the crowd. Arnold goes to give me a high five and I completely ignore him, so too big time. And he's there with this big massive smile on his face, and I go over, we do this predator handshake. I think, Eddie, you monster. The 500 kilo itself, it's a lift of history. It's the biggest weight ever lifted from the floor by a human. And I was going to break that world record by 37 kilos of one day, which is 8% thereabouts. That's like Usain Bolt knocking 0.8 of a second off his 100-metre sprint. I just quickly realised I couldn't do it alone. And I surrounded myself with an amazing team of scientists, with blood nutritionists, with psychiatrists and hypnotherapists. The average person day to day walking around probably has access to about 50% of the muscle fibres. Someone who trains 20 hours a week has access to about, at most, 70% of the muscle fibres. But then you hear stories of a mother who had a car crash who can lift a car off of the kids, has access to 100% of the muscle fibres, and it's a mass release of adrenaline, hormones, and she's able to just release a monster basically, something that in her day-to-day life she wouldn't be capable of, but in that split second she could. Blood that came out of my eyes, my ears, my nose, and I collapsed after the lift. I was convulsing. Paramedics get on me, my heart rate up the 180s, 190s, my blood pressure was unreadable. I lost my vision, which is the most scary thing. I look back and I think, would I do it all again? Yes, I fucking would. World's Strongest Man 2017, I get out there and I say in my head, I've got to become in the top 3 on every single event. The first event was the tire flip, and I came 5th. The next event was the plane pull. On the front of the plane, the wheel was on a pivot pin. And if the wheel moved, that created drag on the plane. So I noticed with the bigger guys, we were getting slower times. I went out and I thought, no matter what, give it your all, but no matter what, draw a line and row straight. I ended up coming 3rd, and I remember collapsing. I'm on my back, I'm looking at the sky, and all the cameras gather around. And everyone's like, what are you laughing at? I'm like, I've just won the world's strongest man. And well, how do you work that out? I was like, well, the deadlift's next.
It's cost me my life. It's cost me so much family time. Just so much. And now I can be a husband and a father again. You will not see me at World's Strongest Man again. I'm sorry, but I have conquered my dream. That is all I wanted to do. I want to go and enjoy life now. I want to go and enjoy my kids.
And I realised that there's 2 ways of living your life. You either sink and you dwell and you bury your head and you think the world's against you, or you swim and you move forward and you set goals and you chase dreams. Pick one. And I know which one I'd rather fucking pick.